Chapter 68. Brother is a Good Citizen. Donna stood in front of the farm's iron gate, wrapped in a thick wool coat, facing the biting cold wind that slapped against the gate. After a while, there was no response from inside the farm. Could it be he's not at home? Donna hesitated for a moment, then turned to the three colleagues behind her and asked, "This guy is a dangerous individual." The black-faced military policeman on Donna's left spoke in a low voice. According to Simon's confession just now, this Hiroshi possesses strong command and individual combat capabilities, and he may also have weapons of mass destruction. If he resists, the few of us will have a hard time controlling him. By the way, what's the attitude of the higher-ups towards him? Donna paused for a moment and asked, her tone becoming more serious. Are they leaning towards punishment or reward? I have no idea about that. The black-faced policeman shrugged with a bitter smile and continued, normally, he should be rewarded for eliminating those bandits, because he did something we couldn't do. But he's neither a law enforcer nor acting in self-defense as a victim. Those bandits were guilty, but he didn't have the authority to take their lives. The higher-ups might make an exception and recruit him into the police force, or he might be sentenced to death. Listening to the policeman's lengthy explanation, Donna found no concrete answer, which irritated her. So, basically, you're saying nothing useful? I'm just an ordinary low-level cop. I only have the authority to arrest people, not to judge them. What I say doesn't matter. The black-faced policeman chuckled and shrugged, then leaned closer to Donna and whispered in her ear, "But you're different. If you fancy this Hiroshi, you can talk to your old man and plead for him. Maybe this kid can turn his misfortune into a blessing." Donna gave the black-faced policeman a cold glance and snorted, "Humph. Harry hates it when people use connections or plead for favors. If I don't say anything, this kid might still be okay. But if I do go plea, Harry would probably advise the chief to execute him on the spot." The black-faced policeman shivered at the mention of Iron-Faced Harry, the legend, and muttered to himself, "Well, that's entirely possible." Just then, the warehouse door suddenly swung open. Hiroshi, dressed in a black down jacket, stepped out and looked towards the location of the farm gate. "Is that him?" Donna tensed up, asking the black-faced man beside her in a low voice. "Yes, it's him." The black-faced man nodded. Hiroshi walked towards the gate, scanning everyone up and down, then asked, "Is there something wrong?" Having heard the conversation between the female officer and the black-faced policeman through the surveillance-level radar guard in the warehouse, he understood everything. That's why he stepped out from the warehouse. At least now he knew they weren't here for Jack and Sally. If he continued hiding in the warehouse, and in case they broke into the farm and discovered those robots, things would get more complicated. "Are you Hiroshi?" The female officer took out her police badge from her chest pocket, flashed it in front of Hiroshi, and said, "We suspect you're involved in a murder case. Please cooperate with us and come to the police station for questioning." Hiroshi narrowed his eyes. He keenly sensed that while the female officer was showing him her police badge, the three military policemen standing beside her had silently placed their hands on their waists. This was the precursor to drawing their guns. If Hiroshi showed any signs of resistance or escape, these three military policemen would draw their guns in about 0.3 seconds and aim them at Hiroshi's head. "Sorry, I'm a law-abiding citizen and have never done anything illegal, so I think you've got the wrong person." Hiroshi smiled faintly and said calmly. Hiroshi was contemplating. While he could easily take out these military policemen now, it would lead to greater trouble later. Order had not completely collapsed yet, and the military police still wielded significant power in this civilization. If they were here just to avenge those bandits, Hiroshi believed he wouldn't be in any real danger. With his current physical condition and trump cards, he could easily carve a bloody path out of a heavily guarded police station. It wasn't an exaggeration. With Hiroshi's current physical abilities, he could easily take on a dozen well-trained military policemen and crush them. Just like what Man once said, "I want to fight 10. Hiroshi smiled and calmly said, "I'm sorry, I'm a law-abiding citizen, and I've never done anything illegal. So, I think there's been a mistake." Hiroshi thought about whether he could put an end to these military police in front of him, but he would have to face bigger trouble afterward. The order had not completely collapsed yet. Military police still wielded significant power in this society. If they were just after the demise of those thugs, Hiroshi felt he wouldn't be in much danger. With his current physical condition and the cards he held, even if they really wanted to do something to him, he could easily carve a bloody path out of this heavily guarded police station. To put it bluntly, with Hiroshi's current physical fitness, he could single-handedly take on a dozen well-trained military police officers and completely dominate them. It was like what man once said, "I want to fight 10. Have we made a mistake? We'll investigate thoroughly." Donna's attitude had become firm. Her face was cold as she said, each word deliberate, "Now, please open the gate." As Donna spoke, the eyes of the other 3 military police officers were fixed on Hiroshi's face like knives. Hiroshi remained silent for a moment, then shrugged. Fine. He hadn't planned to clash with the military police, at least not now, until the order completely collapsed, or until Hiroshi had the power to confront the entire national machinery. He wouldn't easily allow himself to be put on the military police's blacklist. The military police were the sword of the state. If there was a choice, Hiroshi currently didn't want to cross swords with this blade. It wasn't just dangerous, it would be very troublesome. If he were a wandering lone ranger, that would be one thing. But he had a farm, a sister, which meant he couldn't afford to do too many outrageous things. The gate was opened. 2 military police officers still held guns, watching Hiroshi warily. Another military police officer approached, pulling out cold handcuffs from his waist, preparing to put them on Hiroshi. Hiroshi smiled. Those stainless steel handcuffs, if it were 10 days ago, he wouldn't have been able to break free no matter what. But now, to him, they were just ornaments. As long as he wanted, he could easily snap them apart. The military police officer grabbed Hiroshi's arm and locked one cuff around his left wrist. But just as he was about to lock both of Hiroshi's hands, the door of the small building was pushed open again. Kiko rubbed her eyes and walked out. Seeing the scene at the door, she paused, then asked, "Big brother, are there police uncles and aunties here? Is something wrong?" Hiroshi's expression changed instantly when he saw Kiko. After all, he was wearing handcuffs and Kiko, at her age, already understood their significance. But at that moment, Donna suddenly stepped forward, blocking Hiroshi's wrist from Kiko's view. She gestured to the military police officer to remove the handcuffs from Hiroshi's wrist and said with a smile to Kiko, "Little sister, the police aunties are here to give your brother an award certificate because he's a good citizen. Later, your brother will go to the police station with the aunties to receive the prize." "Really?" Kiko's eyes lit up. Hiroshi was taken aback for a moment. Then, a warm feeling surged in his heart, and he couldn't help but silently sigh. This woman seems cold on the surface, but she actually has a kind heart.